Pause for thought and join in the barking with Darren Rowe on The Mindful Dog.
Welcome to The Mindful Dog, and it's time to catch up with our latest Canine Behavioural slot on Magic Talk, the Sunday Cafe with Roman Travers.
How's your dog doing? Well, if your dog's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, sit, roll out, fetch the pay. If it's not doing all that stuff, maybe it's you. Hey, Darren.
It could well be.
Maybe it's you and not the dog that's got it all wrong. Darren Rowe is from Mindfulness for Dogs. He's a great guy. I call him the dog whisperer because I've seen him in action, and what you do is quite spooky, I have to say. Quite amazing.
What do you mean by that, Roman?
Just that it works. You know, years and years of get in, and yanking on some dog's lead, and within, I would say, I said to some friends yesterday, within 5 or 6 minutes was an exaggeration. It was within a minute. Izzy was walking at our heel.
I think it's just trying to get that clear line of communication. And once you understand how dogs really see what we're doing, they want to please us all the time, don't they?
Gee.
We just don't know how to actually please them, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And maybe, like you've said in the past, it's more to do with us and our lack of ability to communicate that. If you've got questions for Darren, fire them through. There's no such thing as a silly quit. Well, there is actually. If it's but Darren can work that out for you. He can help you, believe me. 0800 844 747. Darren Rowe from Mindfulness for Dogs. Now you have some exciting news.
Yeah, I am incredibly excited at the moment. Me and my wife are like you know when you wake up in the Christmas morning,
yes,
and you feel like just like the whole day is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
we've just put our names down for, wait for it, drum roll.
Yes,
2 puppies.
Oh.
Yeah,
wow.
We've done the one thing that everyone says you should never do, which we always do. We buy 2. Now, little disclaimer here, don't recommend that for people who've never had a dog before, definitely.
Yeah.
But we've just put our name down for 2 little border collies.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah.
So what will they, because there are short-haired and long-haired border collies, aren't there?
Yeah, there are. So we don't know yet, actually, because they're not going to be born until the end of March. Mm-hmm. So my wife would love a short-haired, and I like long-haired, but hey, you know what happens when you go and see puppies? They pick you.
Yeah.
So you have all these ideas of what dogs you're going to have, and then these 2 little things just come running over to you, and they're the ones that just you fall in love with straight away.
Would you, do you have any recommendations around male versus female, or if you're buying 2, would you get one of each? Or
we're certainly gonna. Well, I say that we're hoping to go for boys, just because we've got 3 girls already, and if you get too many girls together, it can be a little bit sort of like
bitchy.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That's probably the best one. We're going to we've booked into a Kennel Club approved breeder. It's Penteronda collies, border collies, just outside Cambridge. And we went to see mums yesterday. There's 2 litters they're having. We went to see mum yesterday.
Nice.
So nice.
Yeah.
Such lovely dogs.
So if you are thinking of buying a dog, and we tend to think of a breed that suits us, and some people don't, they'll buy some giant sort of Irish wolfhound and then go into an apartment. It doesn't make sense. 0800 844 747. Give that number a call and you'll come through and have a free chat with Darren Rowe from Mindfulness for Dogs. What was your decision-making sort of algorithm when you were choosing this breed?
Well, we're like a month away, aren't we, before the dog's even been born? So that whole process started for us about 3 months ago. That seems like a really long time, doesn't it? 3 months ago before we even looked at puppies, yeah. And it was, well, what dogs have we got? What's our lifestyle like? Have we got time? I mean, my business is getting really busy at the moment, so have I got time to bring in 2 new puppies? So for us, those puppies, we're going to document their whole life. So my wife is going to write a puppy blog. She's getting so excited about that. She's already started it. We're going to video every day what we're doing. So it's like a little video diary, I guess, of our dog's life, which would be really cool. So that's how we're putting that into our life.
You're not a big fan of putting titles on dogs in terms of intelligence, but they are the most intelligent, aren't they?
They are. They pick things up really quickly. But remember, when you have someone that's really intelligent, you just got to think of kids in school. When you have that highly intelligent kid, they also get bored really quickly. So yeah, high intelligence is really good, but actually you've got to keep them stimulated and motivated all the time. Otherwise they get bored, and then they get destructive and they get naughty, and we've got problems, haven't we?
Well, when I decided on a border terrier, I said to the breeder we might want to buy 2, and she said no, because if one's naughty, they'll just be naughty together.
Most breeders, we had this conversation with the breeder, and quite rightly so, most breeders will not recommend that you buy 2, and most of them won't sell you 2, because it is really hard work and you have to really know what you're doing. We've done this now, this is the 3rd time that we bought 2 puppies at the same time, and we always separate the training, so my wife trains one and I train the other, so it's totally separate arrangement, but then you've got the enjoyment that they can play together and stuff like that. But you're right, they do pick up their bad habits to each other. So you've got to be careful.
So you've got a fleet of other dogs, haven't you?
Fleet.
How many dogs have you got in your fleet?
So we've got 6 at the moment.
What?
So we've got 3 border collies
Yeah.
and 3 Irish setters. Yeah. So but they kind of range from about 3 now up to 15.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We lost a couple of dogs quite recently over the last few years, so that's why we're looking. It's taken a good year for us to think about getting another puppy. So
Right.
yeah.
So let's just, I know we've got other stuff to talk about, but I want to ask you, how many is too many? Like
How many?
do you know what I mean? Like crazy
asking
cat
me?
people who have 100 cats,
Yeah.
but they don't really look after them because cats look after themselves, right?
Yeah. So I think you've really got to look at your lifestyle. So you've got to look at what you've got. Now we've got about just over 2 acres of land, so that's plenty enough for dogs to run around in. You've got to make sure, have they got the adequate provisions? So have they got a decent kennel? Our dogs have got the west wing. It's hilarious.
Wow.
Sounds like we've got this massive house. We haven't, but most of the house is for the dogs, and that's where they are during the day if we're not here. And then they've got the paddock to run around. So it's just, as a dog trainer, my whole life revolves around dogs. So 6, 8 dogs really isn't a problem because they're involved in the work. But if I'm a really busy person working in the city, then maybe 1 dog is too much.
Yeah. The thing you just mentioned before about having time is paramount. I understand that. But most of us don't have the time. We have time later in life.
Yes.
And then if you choose a dog that's incredibly active like a border collie, but you're retired,
Yeah.
how does that work? It doesn't really
Well, I
benefit
think,
the dog.
Yeah, that's possibly not the right choice, but I think we choose the time, if that makes sense. So there's always time in the day. You could wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you could take your dog for a walk if you choose to do that. So I think if you make that commitment with a dog, you find the time to put it in, basically.
Yeah.
And we choose not to. Yeah.
Okay. Darren's got some tips around keeping safe with your children and grandchildren as well. We're going to come to that in a moment, but you are more than welcome to call now and have a chat with Darren on 0800 844 747. If you're a bit shy in the outgoing department, you can also text on 3920. I hope you've had at least a coffee to get yourself going. Dogs don't need that, do they? Dogs just get up and get going every single day.
They do, yeah. They have that. I'm reading a book called The Miracle Morning, and I reckon dogs have got that down to a T. They utilise that first hour amazingly.
Yeah.
Do everything they need to do and set themselves up for the day.
Yeah. Look, we've got some calls coming through on 0800 844 747, the text 3920. There's a quick text that's just come in here. My dog barks at our neighbours down the fence lines, but if in the same space as the neighbours, there's no issue. How do we stop the dog barking at the fence?
So first of all, I would say if they've met the neighbours and they know that they're okay, then that's because they can see the problem. So they think it's a threat. 9 times out of 10, if they can't see through the fence, then they can't sort of test whether it's a threat or not. So it might just be the fence that you've got. But think about what you're doing. If you're shouting and screaming at the dog when they're barking, you're telling them to bark because you're doing the same thing. So it's about going there and being quite quiet and modelling the behaviour you want the dog to do.
Right.
But again, if they can't see through the fence, they can't see the threat. So
Yeah.
that might be a way of looking, maybe changing your fence even.
You know, when you're in town, in any town in the country, and you see a dog suddenly yapping at people, often the owner will pick it up and reassure it, which is telling the dog that it's doing a good thing. That's my reverse psychology. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, is it? Because I had this conversation quite recently with a person actually who's got a little tiny dog, and it's a fear thing from the owner. They're scared that their dog's going to get hurt. And then sometimes if it's a great big ugly dog sort of thing, that's probably the best thing to do because your dog might get hurt, and you hear the stories, don't you? But from a behavioural perspective, no, it's the worst thing you can probably do. Pick your dog up. First of all, you're raising your dog up, and then if you've got a little chihuahua or a guarding dog, they're going to be barking their heads off and get some confidence in that. So yeah, it's a hard one. It really is a hard one because you don't want to leave your dog on the floor to get hurt.
Yeah.
So you've got to gauge whether it's a safety-wise it's the best thing or whether behaviourally-wise it's a good thing.
I met some lovely dogs yesterday. I was out for a big walk. I had a lovely chat with a border terrier who ignored me completely.
Oh, no.
Yeah, just like, go away, I'm busy walking. And I had a good chat to him regardless. And then came a fleet of miniature schnauzers. And this woman was walking 2 of them, and I had a chat with them. And they were lovely. Then all of a sudden they just started barking at me. Like, what the hell have I done?
Yeah, they're full-on dogs, those little schnauzers.
Wow.
Everyone thinks they're really nice, and I mean they're lovely dogs, but they're full-on dogs. Don't take them on because you think they're a nice, simple dog to look after.
I love the giant schnauzer.
Yes, you don't see many of those.
No,
nowadays,
you don't.
Do you?
No, they are a beautiful, beautiful dog.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, what should we do? Let's tell you to call because you can, and it's you're not going to get charged for this. It's free advice around a dog you're thinking of buying. Are you choosing the right breed? Getting your dog to do the right stuff for you. 0800 844 747. Now, let's talk about danger situations with dogs, children, grandchildren.
Yeah. I was looking in the internet, something flashed up, one of those, I think it might have been News Hub or something, about some kid who'd been attacked by a dog. And it got me thinking about, what are we, as owners, what are we doing to our dogs and to our kids to put our kids in situations where they really shouldn't be, maybe? So there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about today, really, just so that parents realise the dangers they're putting their kids in without even realising it, without even understanding. And there's maybe 5 sort of things that I want to talk about.
Okay.
So we'll go through them, and please phone in if you've got any comments about this sort of thing.
Yeah. What's the phone number, Darren?
Oh gosh, it's you put me on the spot there, didn't you? It's 0800
Yes.
844 747.
Hang on, I'll get a pen. What was it?
It's 0800
Yes.
844 747. But did you know what, Roman? You
Yes.
can text on 3920 as well.
Brilliant. You did that very well.
That's very good. Like
So we do, look, just going back a step, when you do have grandchildren
Yep.
and the dog understands that this is my place, not yours, the grandchildren come and challenge the dog for chairs or even just attention from the owner.
Well, grandchildren are quite scary to dogs because they scream and they shout and they come running in and they're all jumping on granny and granddad, and that could be quite upsetting for a dog, a bit like that perceived threat again.
Upsetting for the grandparents too sometimes.
Yeah, quite probably, yeah. So one of the key things that I've noticed is that we will always want photos of the dogs, don't we? Yeah, so we get the little grandchildren to give the dog a hug, and they hold the dog, and you can see the dog isn't happy, and that's where most of the bites and things happen. Okay, so one of the key things is do not take photos of your grandchildren hugging your dog, right? Because it's a classic, it's going to happen, right? If they keep holding, the dog wants to escape because they're getting stressed and they can't escape, so they go into flight and fight, they can't fight, so they're going to fight.
Right. So in our head, it's a hug. In their head, it's restraint.
It's and it's possible fear, isn't it? Because you're overshadowing them and getting them really quite nervous. You'll see the panting. You'll see the big lip curls. The tongue goes up. That's a sign that you've got to let go. So there's much better ways. And actually, when you take a photo, I see all the time photos of dogs with their tongues hanging out, and everyone thinks they look really cute. I just see a stressed out dog, and
isn't that
a very
incredible?
lucky child.
Yeah. Now, Darren pointed that out to me with Izzy, the Weimaraner that I walk sometimes, not much anymore, but apparently when she licks her top lip, that's a sign of fear, stress?
It's just a stress sign. It's a calming signal. Well, some people say it's a calming signal to you to say, look, back off a little bit. It's too much.
Okay, we're going to come back to more of these 5 ways to keep your grandchildren and children out of danger when it comes to dogs. But Lucy is on the line. G'day, Lucy. How are you doing?
Lucy?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, thank you. I just was driving and thought I had a question, and I've got through, so that's great. We've just got an 8-month-old Jack Russell, and we've got a lovely property, lots of room to roam, but we have lots of chickens. Now he's not chasing the chickens, but he's got a taste for the eggs. How do we stop him? Because he's taking the eggs and hiding them in the sandpit.
Oh, he's a clever dog.
And he's a clever dog. Sometimes he'll eat them, but he mostly hides them.
Oh, wow. Oh, I had all sorts of other visions of what you were going to say there. That was not one of them. How do you stop a dog from doing that? Well, first of all, I'd be asking myself, the alternatives is that he's eating the chickens. So if he's going for the eggs and not the chickens, then that's a really good thing. I'd almost be encouraging it that way. We certainly did with our dogs. They would run around the chickens and steal their eggs. How many chickens have you got?
We've got about 13.
Right,
We've got one that lays outside of the chicken run. I mean, the obvious thing is to really board it up so he can't get in, but he's quite an escape artist, and he'll get in.
Get everywhere, and they'll dig if they can't. But you've got quite a few eggs there every day, I would imagine. So like the odd egg probably wouldn't be a loss. And
yes, the odd egg isn't a loss. Yeah,
and if it keeps your dog interested in not trying to eat the chickens. And eggs are good for dogs. I mean, it's not like they're bad for dogs. His coat will shine. So I would be kind of encouraging, or not encouraging it, but not discouraging it, if that makes sense, but redirecting it away from the chickens into the eggs. Maybe getting an egg and hiding it and making it a game for him to actually go and find. So it's away from the chickens maybe, but somewhere else.
Okay.
And
so maybe the answer is to get more chickens.
Well, that's always a good one, isn't it? Yeah.
Hey, Lucy, that's interesting. By the sounds of it, he doesn't really want to eat them, or he does later on. He's storing them, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, he's definitely storing them. We've found a couple in the sandpit and thought it was quite funny, but the odd one he eats.
The fact that he's in the sandpit as well is really good, because that's a way of encouraging a dog not to dig. So he's got his own little sandpit. You can put toys in there as well and make that the best place in the world for him.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you.
Yeah, cheers, Lucy. All the best.
No worries.
Okay, bye.
See, if that was a border collie, you would teach it to make an omelette with
Yes,
the
you
eggs,
would,
you know,
yes,
because they're a smart dog. Dave is on the line. G'day, Dave. How are you this morning?
Not bad.
Good morning, Dave.
G'day. I was just ringing up about the digging thing. You were just about to talk about it, so
Yeah,
just
that's good timing.
convenient.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's he doing? What's your dog doing, and where's he digging?
Oh, she just, like, we'll take her for walks and stuff, They say it's a boredom thing. But
Yeah.
we'll take her for walks, and then within 10 minutes of being home, she just digs up the backyard.
Oh, okay, what kind of dog is she?
We've tried putting her business in the hole. So we've heard that